Dangin Nira, hoin uframevna, nen niskevnunin skwa. Lesson 6. The Accusative Case. Now that you know how to conjugate verbs, you can start using them in sentences. You may have noticed that verbs in Dangin Nira do not take personal subject pronouns. That is, you don't say I or you or they, you just say the verb, since the verb ending is sufficient to tell you which person did the action. However, you have seen subjects used, with the pronouns ema and esta. When non-personal pronouns or actual nouns are involved, you will state the subject and use the third-person form of the verb. When a noun acts as a subject, it is in the nominative case, which is the dictionary form of the noun ending in a. So, for example, to say a man is walking, you'd say risa letok. Notice how you also do not say a or an. Indefinite articles are not used in Dangin Nira. However, if you wanted to say the man is walking, you'd say nen risa letok. Nen is the word for the definite article. So, to say a dog is jumping, you'd say bava alyok. But to say the dog is jumping, you'd say nen bava alyok. Now the verbs we've used so far are called intransitive. That means they only take a subject. Conversation can get really boring if nothing is doing anything to anything else. In other words, if there aren't any objects. Now in English, objects look the same as subjects, except for the personal pronouns. Notice how me is different from I, and them is different from they. I and they are subjects, the nominative case, and me and them are objects, what we call the accusative case. In Dangin Nira, to put a noun in the accusative case, we have to change the a ending to an e. So, for example, to say the man is using the pencil, you'd say nen risa vok nen hifte. Now we can use a lot more verbs. For example, Tsukeloi, which means to hold. So if you wanted to say the woman is holding a cat, you'd say nen SUMA TSUKELOK PUKNE. Or to say I'm holding the rock, you'd say Tsukelos nen gungole. Now that we know the accusative case, we can ask the question eme niskom. Eme niskom, which means what are you doing? Notice how eme is the accusative form of ema, what. Let's see some examples of this question in use. Eme niskom, kelos, kelos. Eme niskom, semaros, semaros. Eme niskom, ekros tsetke, ekros tsetke. Eme niskom, ogavos ade, ogavos ade. Eme niskom, legros spane, legros spane. Eme niskom, tsukelos nen nange, tsukelos nen nange. There are a few verbs which take a preposition in English, but just take an object in Dangin Nira. For example, Wokendoi, to knock on. To say, I'm knocking on the door, you'd say, Wokendos nen voike. So, in review, we now know 3 noun cases. The nominative, which ends in a, the accusative, which ends in e, and the vocative, which ends in ad. We also know the definite article, nen, which means the. We can also respond to the question eme niskom, which means what are you doing? Here's a list of the new vocabulary introduced in this lesson. Review it and make sure you know it before you join us for the next video.